but you don't know.
It's one of those things, Dean. You could be lost, you could be found, you could, as a business owner right now, it could be everything in between. So do you think they're lost? Or do you think just nobody in the business world even realizes the extent of what's about ready to happen to their businesses and being found?
Well, I think, Rob, that's a loaded question because we got people all over the place in businesses. A lot of them are aware, but they just don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn, I think, is part of the problem. So those people are lost. Then we have the people that they buried their heads in the sand and they don't even pay attention and they're going to be destroyed. I'm not trying to be mean about that, but they're just not going the competition's going to be looked up and they're not. They're not going to even be visible with all the new things that are coming out, especially with the new search processes in the digital world.
Well, when we started the whole entire company based on voice search and being able to do that. Voice search is still a hot topic, but the way people are finding businesses has changed even over the last 90 days to a year. And especially if you go back to the beginning of, simplybefound.com, 5 years ago, it's been a complete difference in how people are interacting with businesses, how they're searching and what they're doing. So if a business isn't aware that people are searching for them using AI technologies, so either Copilot from Bing or Google's AI mode, or if how they're interacting with Grok or anything by using their mobile phone and the voice search capabilities with AI, they're going to be left behind. I did a video earlier about, this reminds me of being in the 90s and doing Yellow Book and newspapers and tidbits and all those different things to them being, left behind if I didn't go to the digital world. Now we're in the digital world, but the digital world's taking that same shift. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the problem is we're talking about you have to be found. You have to be found on whatever the media is that's out there. Like you said, in the 90s, it was all about paper lookups on phone books, in magazines, that kind of thing. Then the Google My Business thing happened. It was a big deal for a lot of small businesses. And everybody's all hung up on that. Problem is and then there was websites, and when websites weren't important, now they're important again. I mean, it's shifting, and if nobody's there to coach or to help people to understand it, that's the problem. Is they know what worked in the past, but what worked in the past isn't where we're going to in the future, and that's the problem that I think is going on. Is where what is it with the AI? How are people using their functions? Like you talked about this wonderful little toy here. I mean, how people aren't going to your website anymore. They're not saying near me anymore. They're saying that the searches are becoming more complex. That's what I think is the biggest thing that people aren't understanding.
Searches become, it used to be a static thing. It delivered those results to you, but now it's interactive. So with the world of AI, as we go into it, so as we've been looking at data as a data scientist side of things, we've been looking at how all that has changed. And that's how I'd probably describe it best, is it's no longer static. And there's not just one place, one area that you have to focus on. There's this huge box from a lot of these business owners, and it's interactive, and it's pulling data from your website. It's pulling data from your listings. It's pulling data from your social media. It's pulling data from everywhere it can learn about your business. But if you're not talking about your business, you're going to be left behind.
Oh, absolutely. And and so we're back to the storytelling. You got to talk about your business. You got to talk about how you solve customer problems, products you sell that would solve, that meets the needs of potential customers. And I think a lot of businesses don't understand that. They just think, okay, I'm being found, I'm being here, but they're not, that there's more to it than just being on the listings. I mean, you still have to be talking about it because it's going out and looking and then coming back. And, there's some give and pull on that in the whole process, in the dynamic search process.
There is. I mean, it still goes down to the basics of the tree concept and the three pillars. The three pillars would be content authority and trust is what's going to determine if you make the ranking or if you don't make the ranking. The tree method is going to be how everything goes across. So that's going to be, if you haven't ever heard us talk about that, that's the root base at the very bottom. That's going to be your listings engine. We work with over 1,000 different networks that go inside of there. Then you have your trunk of the tree, which is going to be your website. It's going to be your SEO. It's going to be your pillar content. So if you're a contractor or working on a service area business, it's going to be your city pages. If you're a restaurant, it's going to be your menus. It's going to be what you offer as that core pillar content. And then you're going to have the canopy up here. We're going to take blogs. We're going to put it up there because those are more of an ongoing piece. So they're going to be inside. They're not pillar type of content. They're going to be something that's there that's going to be dynamically always changing, being updated. You have your social media, which is going to then have sub branches for Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, all that stuff. You might have video marketing. You might have email marketing. You might have all these different things that are up inside of that canopy. And you have to be able to build on those pillars, be everywhere inside of that canopy. And every business's canopy is going to be a little bit unique as far as how they're going to interact with it and how they're going to go out to all the different places and what they should be doing.
So here's the thing that everybody, the tree analogy is great because what do you see when you see a tree? You see the trunk, you see the canopy. That's what the outside world is seeing. That's when they do the searches, that's what they're seeing based on that information. That root base that's so important. And I think a lot of people neglect, they don't think about that. That's without a good root base, that canopy and everything just kind of falls over. I mean, it's not there. You're not going to have a big tree yet. So it's the part that's the unseen piece that really gets difficult for business owners, I think, is the part that you don't see. I mean, it's all together. It's a ebb and flow. You push stuff up, you push things down, and that's what's important with that tree, and that's why it's dynamic. And it's an ecosystem that you have to be nurturing, you have to be adding to it all the time and telling your story all the time to make yourself that wonderful tree that people see.
Well,
I love trees, by the way.
What's why trees fall down?
Yeah.
Is when you don't take care of it and where it doesn't have that good root base. I agree on that. And what we see a lot from members or potential members and business owners that we're talking to, and tell me if you see something different on this, Dean, but what I'm seeing when I really look at that and from our conversations is people go, I built this website and the website's not getting traffic. Or I'm concentrating on ads and ads aren't working right now and I'm spending tons of money and my goodness, this is what I've been doing forever and this is what I'm going to keep doing, but it's not working. Or you have someone that goes, oh, I paid a company and they're doing social media for me, but yet they're not focused on the website. And then it's like people are all over the place and they're not focusing on the big picture of what everything is in that long-term goal.
Right. I agree with you 100% because it takes, you just can't just concentrate on one thing. You can't just concentrate on your website. If you concentrate on your website, your canopy never gets full. You got to, and ads is part of that canopy, but it's just part of it. I mean, and people put so much emphasis on just one area. And I think that's a tendency for small businesses that they concentrate on one thing because they focus on one thing at a time, because that's what's in front of them. When I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you have to take care of the whole tree. I mean, you have to prune it. You have to get rid of things that aren't working. I mean, and that root base again is so important to the whole thing.
Well, and it's where we kind of shifted and where we pivoted to for our business, to where we work with people on how to be able to take care of the whole canopy. We can coach you on that and do that. Depends on what plan you're on with us, but that's a big piece of what we do. But you have to be willing to help yourself. It's not just a magic bullet, hire a marketing agency and boom, you're going to get results tomorrow and not have to put any work in, because most of those agencies don't know your business as well as you know your business.
Right.
And I think that's going to be a huge, I mean, I've operated, I've been in those shoes of those agencies before. And I think it's going to be a harder piece for them to be able to do, because you have to be talking about your business. So if you're not providing them the content over to be able to then take and expand out on that content, your content just isn't going to work.
Right. And we really want business owners to understand the organic process is so important for long-term stability and growth. I mean, stable growth. You can use ads. I mean, a lot of agencies, I'm not going to pick on all agencies because they're not all the same, but a lot of people, they do this influx, they do coupons, they do some kind of an ad campaign that, for whatever, and you get this little spike and you think, oh, this is great. Well, you keep putting more money in it, more money in it. So then you have to go in and the small business owner needs to take into account the costs for closings and things of that nature. That's why we really concentrate on the organic, because then when they find you're not doing these spikes of money or a lot of output on the whole process. So
you have to feed when you're doing ads and you're paying money inside the ad world. You have to be able to keep feeding the beast. And the problem is, right now we're not seeing anything in AI for what ads look like. So, for example, actually, I don't know if you do or not. Let's look.
Yeah, I don't know. I do. Yeah. So let's tell what we're looking at here, Rob.
All right. So this is the Google version of AI. This is going to be what I predict by the end of summer is going to be the new Google search. Will be all AI mode. I think they're going to make the transition to it if they can bring ads into it. I'm not sure if they have or not. It helps if I click on the right screen.
I can't help you with that because I can't.
I'd be giving you all kinds of hell. I'm going to use the near me function. So what it's going to do, what it's doing right now is it's going out and it's looking for plumbers near me. So ads is there ads on the screen? Let's look. Those are not ads. So no, there's no ads whatsoever inside of AI mode yet inside of Google. So they're gonna have to put some ads in here for them to make money, because that's how Google makes money.
Exactly. So ads will be a function. We just don't know what that function is going to be like. But,
correct.
But what's happening though is in the searches, what everybody doesn't understand is web traffic is going to go down, because when you see things here, you may or may not go to the website to make a decision.
I may come in and say, okay, find a plumber near me because I need a plumber. What is one that can handle toilets really well? It'll go out. It's going to search all their websites. It's going to search those Google business profiles. It's going to make sure what posts you've done. It's going to possibly look at your social media. I don't really know where it's pulling all data from. Right. I do know it's pulling from the website and Google business profile.
Right.
For the Google one.
I thought I saw that some of the social, somewhere when we were doing some of these before, I thought I saw some things from social networks, but I don't know that for sure either.
It's all over the place right now.
Right.
So I don't want to say that's where it's coming from. But I can tell you that these are Google business profile listings right here. Like if I go to Top Notch Plumbing, it'll pull that Google business profile up on this side. It's going to look at its reviews. It's going to look at its posts. As you can see, these guys have posts inside of there. So, I mean, it's interacting how that search is happening. And now I can go through.
I don't know if you just noticed that, Rob, but it showed their Facebook posts on that when you were showing
that's because it's in their Google business profile.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So that didn't show anything for only thing it showed for Facebook. Let's pull it back up here. I keep going to the wrong screen.
I just saw that, and
so it's going to say social media updates. Yeah, you're right. It's pulling from their Facebook.
Right. No, I saw the Facebook logo and I went, okay, that's where it's going from. So
people are gonna start looking at this, and I'm gonna say, okay, what companies are with the BBB and have a good rating? I mean, so I can go through and I can interact with the search and I can ask it questions. But if somebody has a problem and they're interacting with search on this, and you're not talking about it on YouTube, on your social media, on your blog, and following that whole process, which I recommend, record a video about a problem that you solve or a problem you just solved, put it up on YouTube, take the transcript, put it as a blog, and then make it as your social media and use AI. You could do that in less than probably about 10 minutes if you follow our procedures on that. And we have a whole video on that of how to do it. But that is how you're going to tell the search engines, this is what I offer. Here's a problem I solve. Because if it doesn't know you solved the problem, you're going to be left behind.
Right. So let's say, so far in this search, what is obvious to me, and it may not be obvious to everybody else, I still haven't touched your website yet. So your website traffic is down. You don't know if you're getting to people. That's the problem. I mean, the analytics are going to be, I don't know what the analytics are going to look like over time, but right now there's none, as far as I know, to tell
Correct.
you that you're being seen here, except for the fact the way the questions are being posed to this AI process.
Correct. Never left the AI, never did anything. I interacted with it. I've asked it questions. I could go deeper. I could ask it any question, and it'll go out and it'll try to find that information.
Right. But it's
Without
still
sending me to the website. Now, I could go to the website if I dig deep, but if I have all the information I need from the search, why would I go to the website? It's almost turned the website into a data warehouse about what it is you've done and a place for it to come collect information.
right. And so let's just say you decide you want to use Trout Plumbing because you've heard of them before. If you click on it, does it call them direct, or what's the process on that?
Well, I wouldn't call it. Do you see them on here?
Yeah, they're the third one down, but they're not underlined, so they must not have a Google Business profile.
They're not underlined on here for whatever reason. If I click on this one, it pulls a Google Business profile.
Right.
This one doesn't pull any social. So you have this is all part of that data structuring, Dean.
Right.
So if they don't have the data structured correct and the right schema on their website and the right things in place, that stuff will never line up.
So, and that's the thing that I don't want people to think they have to spend all their time on this, but you've got to put some energy into this side of it, or you're not going to get seen, and your calls are going to go down. Your content, the eyeball, what we like to call the eyeballs on your business, are not going to be there because.
Well, and I mean, even with my 30 years into marketing and doing this type of thing and owning agencies since 2008 and being dived into digital marketing for this long, I'm still stubbing my toe, and they keep constantly changing stuff.
Right.
So it's one of those things to where we have to play with it. But what I can tell you is that data is going to be the biggest structure. Submitting out to all the networks, making sure you're listed everywhere, making sure that you're doing your social media, making sure you have a good website with a good blog.
Right. And right now, because this is still not in the mainstream yet, this is in would we call it beta mode right now, or test mode?
It's still inside the lab, so I'd say it's probably beta, but they've actually put it out on there. So how you get to AI mode of Google, just search something. So I could just say AI mode, click on it up here,
right,
and then it'll take me into AI mode. Now,
right,
Microsoft has its version, and they call it Copilot.
Right.
Give me a search term to look for inside of here, or do you want me to do the same one?
No, let's just do the same thing. I mean, because the information that Microsoft's going to pull is going to be different than Google because of the way people are putting their information out there and that root structure of the listings engine, like we're talking about. And that's the beginning part of it. Right, but it's still going to.
I'm not signed in, so it doesn't know any data. If I was signed in, it would know my past searches. It would know all that because that AI is getting smarter for me to deliver those results.
Right. And then that's another thing that people need to understand is if you start a search pattern, it's going to remember you because it's becoming your best friend. It knows that, like, if you selected one plumber, they're going to get a priority or rank higher, probably, right, on things.
Correct.
Okay. As long as
so now I'm seeing data points on Angie. I'm seeing data points on Facebook. This one's less interactive than what the Google one is, in my opinion. Let's say, what ones would be good for a toilet leak? Toilet repair. I don't remember what I asked on that last one.
I think toilet repair is what you use. So it's not recommending a whole list the same way as the Google one, the way it looks.
No, this one's less interactive, but I mean, it's still providing that information, still doing it as far as this goes, but it's nowhere to the level. They did not. One thing I really find interesting is Bing did not bring Bing Places into their AI search.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't do that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. So
inside of the world of search right now, you also have these search engines that don't know what their end deliverable is going to be.
Right.
It's all predictions at this point. But what I can tell you is if you're not adjusting to this type of thing, you're going to be left behind.
No, I agree 100%. And every search engine is going to be a little different too. Like if you go into YouTube, now does YouTube have an AI application yet? I don't know.
YouTube doesn't have an AI, but has the algorithm that I'm not aware of them coming up with an AI for that part of it for search. I looked to see if Yahoo had one. Yahoo doesn't have one as of today that I could find. Looks like they're building some stuff for their mail piece. But you got to remember, you also have voice search, and voice search has gone to that next level. I mean, right. I can have a full conversation with, let's try it real quick.
Yep. That was my next thing. I was going to say, I don't have a smart speaker here, but you do. So let's
I don't have one. I do, but it's not hooked up in my office.
You don't want to talk
Alexa, but if I go into voice, if I go into voice mode on Grok, I can start talking. 1 sec. Hey, Grok, can you find a plumber near me?
I don't have access to your location, so could you share your city or zip code? That way, I can suggest some reliable plumbers in your area.
Greeley, Colorado.
Got it. You're in Colorado. Here are a few solid options for plumbers based on what's out there. Olson Plumbing and Heating Co. in Colorado Springs has over 100 years of experience.
Didn't pick up on your city.
Please do it inside of Greeley, Colorado.
All right, focusing on Greeley, Colorado. Here are a few reputable plumbers in your area. Trout Plumbing and Heating, Inc., a family-run business with over 30 years of experience, licensed in Greeley and specializing in everything from repairs to backflow testing. Top Notch Plumbing, Heating and Air, LLC, voted Greeley's best plumber from 2020 to 2023, with 3 licensed master plumbers and 60 years of combined experience.
So that right there is pulling off of data from a lot of different sources. Right. ChatGPT has one, Gemini has one, Claude has one. Claude does not have voice, I don't think yet. But ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok all have it where you can interact. And what that's changed is now you've entered a whole new world of the voice search registration piece too, because it's not just the smart speakers, it's the AIs that are out there gathering information about your business.
Right. No, that's the part that's really changed in the last 6 months a ton. I mean, we've seen pivots, but I think this new pivot's going to be even more data information. I don't want to harp on tell your story, but you got to tell everybody what you do and how you can help them solve their problem. But don't spend so much time just talking about yourself, talking about the problems that are out there and how you can solve them. But that gets back into that whole content authority and trust piece again.
Well, if you follow the content strategy for video and starting with that, or even using just ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or any of those and talking to it, if you don't want to do the video piece, you could cut it out and not have that piece in there. But you can go through, have a conversation with one of your AIs and go, I just went in, talked to a client about XYZ, or I just baked a cake, or I just did this, or I had somebody call and ask me this question, and here's my answer to this. And can you please write me some social media posts? Can you write me a blog about this? Or take that transcript, if you did it by video, off of YouTube, and then put it into the AI, have them create that content, because now you're talking about real things that you solve and real problems. Now, it might be the same thing over and over and over again to a point, but every situation has a little bit of a difference, and you're going to say it in a different way each time.
I agree with you 100%. And especially if you're a service area business, talk about where these happened at, because that gives you more content as well that way. But again, that's just telling the story, giving it as much information as you can, because that information is gold right now.
Well, think about if you're a chiropractor or a massage therapist, or even if you're a restaurant owner, you can still come up with the problems that you're solving and talk about it, right, even without giving any personal information away.
Oh, absolutely. Restaurants can even talk. I have family that has dietary restrictions. They spend a lot of time looking for restaurants talking about the dietary restrictions or the dietary needs that they meet. And a lot of restaurants don't even talk about that. They go, are they gluten-free? I don't know. It doesn't say they are or aren't. So they're not giving all the information And that, I think that's the biggest thing, is don't be scared to talk about yourself.
Well, look at restaurants, Dean. I mean, having 2 small kids, I constantly am looking to find, and I mean, they're getting bigger now, but I'm constantly trying to find a kids menu when I'm going out and about. So especially when I'm traveling and going to go to a restaurant, most restaurants, I'd say probably only 3 out of 10 have a kids meal that's published on their website. Most restaurants don't have a website that's not don't have a menu that isn't a picture. So that therefore the search engine has no idea. These algorithms that are out there collecting that information have no idea what they offer. And that is just going to make you hidden and not get you eyeballs whatsoever.
Oh, absolutely. Because, pictures used to have some value to it, but it's not searchable. It doesn't have content for it. And that's the problem. Even though there might be good information on there, I don't know it. And the other thing that irritates me because I can't tell. I have to zoom in with my old eyes, and it makes me crazy because I can't look at it on their website or wherever they have it, on their business profile, wherever it might be.
So, from all the stuff in your years in business, what do you agree with my piece where I started this off with of talking about how this is kind of like Yellow Pages and going into the digital world? We're like going into a whole new world as far as this goes. Now, this is going to be the first step, and then the next thing is going to be this whole new virtual reality piece that's going to start plugging into this AI, and I think it's going to fit right into the same principles.
Right. Yeah, the difference is in the early days, your name made a difference, and some other things, how long you've been in business. Now at the digital age, that is not the same. I mean, your name doesn't matter. It's the information you put out about yourself. So it's the same but different. What's new again. That's what you used to do on the Yellow Pages. Take out a full page ad so people can see all the information. It costs you a small fortune, and you had to do it in every phone book. Now you don't have to do it in every phone book. You just have to do it on your website, and then get all your information out to all the listings engines and all those networks that make a difference, that help give that trust factor, is basically what that does by being there. Is that correct? Am I pulling that in right?
Yeah, so, I mean, all fits into that content authority and that trust pillars.
Right. And so, and businesses just don't. I'm not saying not everybody has that problem, but a lot of people have that issue. And I think that they just need to get in and just make sure they talk about themselves and put that information out there. Spend some time on your website, get it up to date, get it up to snuff. We talk about schema markup, and that's a whole nother topic I don't want to go into.
But it's part of that data. But it's part of that change that we have where we're a data first marketing group,
right?
Because you have to be putting that data in. I mean, we can take over your website. We can do your website. We can do your social media technically, but you're going to have to do some of the work and provide us the content. Because if that content doesn't come over, and if you're working with a marketing agency and you want to use us on listings engine, great. We have tools for you to be able to do that. If you're doing your own website, great. Or if you're doing your own social media, you don't have to do those things with us. But if you're working with a marketing agency, send them over information. Make sure you're paying them to be able to send over that information and say, this is what I solve, this is what I do, and constantly provide that data. Because if you're not providing that data of what you're working on, what's happening, I'm going to use it, for example, a roofer. I've been a marketer for him for years, and I mean, I don't know where hail fell. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what problems they've solved. I don't know about the feet on the ground. I can't do anything as a marketer besides generic content. And generic content is not going to get you where you want to go.
Especially with AI now, there's so much generic AI generated information that you're going to just sound like everybody else. That's why you got to. Yeah, I know. So you have to share that information with whomever in your staff, with your marketing agency, whatever that is. You have to make sure that they are telling the information correctly about your business.
They have to tell your story.
Yep.
And you have to make your customers the hero inside of your story of the problems you're going to help them solve.
Exactly. So,
I mean, it's all going to come down to your data. So if you're not focused on data, making sure all these points and growing your marketing tree or growing your ecosystem of a tree, you are going to be left behind. We can help you get through the, nonsense of it, make it make a lot of sense, and help you get cut through the noise just by visiting us at simplybefound.com. Dean and I handle 100% of the chat. We'd love to chat with you and kind of go through and learn about your business and help you, get through the noise. Anything you would add to that, Dean?
No, I think that's a good way to end this thing up, because we kind of say the same thing over, but a little different, but it's changing again. And we're trying to get you to understand that the change is coming at you and you need to be aware.
Well, this is changing so fast right now. It's not even funny.
Right.
I mean, by the time this video goes out, it might be already changed just a little bit.
Right. Exactly.
I've seen different things that are changed. I have a feeling ads are going to come in, but right now, if you're paying for ads and someone's using AI search, who are you marketing to?
Right. And that's why everybody's saying the ads aren't working for them. Boom. Right there. Right there.
I mean, that's a mic drop. And I mean, it's one of those things to where we want to be able to help you organically get your business found and be able to put you on the map, get you all the different places that you have to be found on. If you have any questions whatsoever, check us out, simplybefound.com. My name is Rob. I'm one of the co-founders here at Simply Be Found.
And I'm the other guy, Dean. So I'd love to chat with you. I would love to have you join us.
And no, he's not my dad.
No, I'm not. I'm glad I'm not his dad.
You wouldn't want to be. Awesome. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, bye, everybody.